Good evening, everybody. Chodesh Tov, Shavua Tov. So, we want to talk tonight a little bit about Rosh Chodesh, a little bit about Purim, and a little bit about the coming of Mashiach, which is all connected to each other. It's all interconnected. And Bezrat Hashem, we'll talk for about 45 minutes. After that, we'll leave time for questions and answers. If anyone has any questions later on they want to ask, feel free to ask. And if you don't mind, whoever has their phones, put it on silent or turn it off. The world will wait for 45 minutes. So good evening, Rosh Chodesh Tov. My name is Alon Anava. And Rosh Chodesh Adar is one of the most specialist days of the year. Because first of all, Rosh Chodesh in itself is an auspicious day. And the question is, why is it called Rosh Chodesh? It should technically should be called Tchilat HaChodesh, the beginning of the month. Because Rosh is a head, and it doesn't make much sense to say head, the head of the month. It would make more sense to say the beginning of the month. Same thing with Rosh Hashanah. It should say Tchilat Hashanah, the beginning of the year, not the head of the year. But it's called the head of the year because in the head everything is included. So in the day of Rosh Hashanah, the beginning of the month, like Rosh Chodesh, all the days of the month is included in that day. Meaning that this day has in it the potential and the power of all the days that will come in the coming month. In the Jewish calendar, we know we have 12 months. Sometimes we're lucky and we have 13 with the second Adar. But each month in the Jewish calendar has a certain power, a certain character trait, a certain emotion. And the month of Adar, the sense of the month of Adar is called tzchok, laughter. Now there's a big difference between happiness and laughter. Laughter is one thing and happiness is a different thing. If you notice, when we read a chapter of Tehillim, every time we bench, when we say Birkat HaMazon, we say Shir HaMa'alot B'Shuv Hashem Et Shivat Zion, when Hashem is going to bring us back to Eretz Israel, when Mashiach is going to come very soon. It says, Hayinu kecholmim, we were as dreamers. And then we add another pasuk, it says, Az Yemales Chokpinu. Then our mouth is going to be filled of laughter. And this is going on the laughter that comes in the month of Adar. Now this is not a laughter when somebody tells you a joke, and you just laugh a little bit. This is a very spiritual and inner laughter that comes from the depth of our neshama. The laughter that it comes from something mundane or from a joke, this is not coming from a good place. It's not coming from a holy place. It's coming from what's called tzchok vekalut rosh, just being foolish. But the real laughter is when the soul reaches such a high level, like when a person, when he's extremely happy, he just laughs. This is the real laughter. This is the laughter we're going to experience very soon when Mashiach is going to come. It's not going to be necessarily only happiness. Az yemales chokpinu. Then our mouth is going to be full of laughter. And the month of Adar, the sense of the month of Adar is laughter. Every month has a different sense. We have online on my website, every month we have a class about the month. The power of the month, the character of that month, the sense of the month. It's a very interesting lecture once a month because we kind of cover what's the potential of the month. So in the month of Adar is the month of laughter. Now in the month of Adar is one of the most specialist holidays of the year. And the reason why I'm saying one of the most special holidays is because we have a lot of holidays that are biblical, like Pesach and Shavuot and Rosh Hashanah and Sukkot. But we have two holidays that are not biblical. That's an event that happened in the past, and our sages decided to make a holiday out of it. And that's Chanukah and that's Purim. And it says, La'atid lavo, in the future, when Mashiach is going to come, all the holidays will be annulled, and at some point all the mitzvot will be annulled. We're not going to have the same mitzvot anymore. Now there's a contradiction between our sages, exactly when it's going to happen. What does it mean that the mitzvot, we're not going to have mitzvot anymore? Most agree that it goes on the time of resurrection of the dead, of Tchiyat HaMetim. But we know that at some point, at the time of the redemption, we're not going to have holidays anymore. The Lubavitcher Rebbe explains that it's not that the holiday is going to be cancelled, rather than the godly revelation that we experience once a year on Pesach, we're just going to have it every day. Every day is going to be Pesach. Every day is going to be Sukkot. Every day. So we're not going to be lacking this godly revelation, so we're not going to be celebrating it every day. But there are two holidays that the godly revelation that we experience, it comes from a very high place that is called above descending chain. Above Seder Ishtalshelut. Now what does it mean, a godly revelation? In our limited mind, we cannot understand what's a godly revelation. You hear it a lot of times, a godly revelation. In Hebrew, it's called He'ara Elokit. He'ara is a enlightenment. He'ara comes from the word in Hebrew, or, which is light. We refer to the Kadosh Baruch Hu as light, or oneself. But this is not the light that we see in the ceiling. This is a total different light, because or is light, but He'ara is an enlightenment, is a revelation. Which means that sometimes the Kadosh Baruch Hu reveals himself in such a way that it's almost like me now being in a dark room, so I don't see anything. And if I don't have a flashlight or anything, I'll start bumping into walls and into things. I'm in the dark. All I need to do is turn the switch on, and there's an enlightenment. Now I can see. Oh. Now in this world, what happens is that we are in darkness. Once in a blue moon, the light is being opened for a couple seconds, and then it's closed. So imagine the same way that I walk into a dark room, I don't see anything in the room. But somebody does me a favor and opens the light. For a few seconds, I see what's going on here, and then the light is down. And not only that I can recognize where I am and what's going on, I actually see, oh, I'm actually in a very beautiful place. But this light goes off right away. So once a year, we celebrate holidays. In Hebrew, it's called Moed. Moed is a festival. So once a year, I celebrate Pesach. Once a year, I celebrate Sukkot. But there are twice a year a holiday that I celebrate, which are Chanukah and Purim. And that's not something that was originated in the beginning, like a biblical holiday. Rather, it's an event that happened in the history. Now, in the beginning, the first year of Chanukah and the first year of Purim, they didn't have a holiday. A miracle happened. Now there's a big question, there's so many miracles in our history, why do we have to celebrate these particular miracles? There are much greater miracles, or just as great in history. You know, after Moshe Rabbeinu went up to Shamayim, to the heavens, Yehoshua took the Jews into Eretz Israel. And then there was a very big war, there was many wars. In one of the wars, there was such a miracle that the sun stood in its spot in order for him to win the war. I mean, this is a pretty big miracle. Why aren't we celebrating the day? So, there are many miracles. Our sages saw the year later, after Chanukah and after Purim, that the same godly revelation that came the year before repeated itself. All the rest of the holidays, this godly revelation did not repeat itself. So they say, okay, it was a one-time miracle. A year after Purim, and a year after Chanukah, they saw the exact same godly revelation appearing. So like, oh, wait a minute, it's repeating. Now we have to commemorate the day. Now our sages, when they decided that, a lot of times when you're saying the sages, you're picturing a few old men with white beards, and these particular men were not regular men. They had what's called Ruach HaKodesh. They had a very high spiritual level that they were able to see things much more than what we can understand. So they saw this godly revelation that repeats itself every year. Therefore, they decided, okay, this is going to be an auspicious time. So twice a year we have a very special day that if you notice, both on Chanukah and on Purim, we celebrate the day, but we don't stop from working. We don't commemorate it exactly like the festivals. We do it a little bit different. Now in the month of Adar, which people connect the month of Adar, they connect it to Simcha, to happiness, but this comes from a much, much higher place than just regular happiness. Unfortunately, we are stuck in this exile for many, many years, and we're stuck in this exile for way more than when we already wish for ourselves. There must be a good reason why we're still stuck in exile, but we are stuck in this horrible exile. And unfortunately, this horrible exile is affecting everybody. Everybody's suffering in one way or another. One person suffers from parnasa, one person can find a match or shidduch to their child, another person has problem in shlom bayit, people have problems in health. Everybody has problems. And everybody thinks that their problems is the biggest problems. They don't understand that everybody has problems. Everybody's pushed to a wall. Nobody has an easy time. Everybody's kvetched in some way or another. Because the Kadosh Baruch Hu says, I want you to scream already to bring the Geula, the redemption. I don't want you to just sit and wait, okay, yeah, we deserve it. No, I want you to do something, to go out of your way, so if I'm comfortable, I'm not going to do anything. So Hashem makes sure that I'm not comfortable. This place, the state of not being comfortable, makes me unhappy, so to say. It's very hard to be happy in time of stress, at any time of stress. And unfortunately, it's very hard to come into to expect from somebody that has financial debt, physical issues, all sorts of things, to tell them, be happy. You have to be happy. Why? Because this is what our Torah tells us. If you do it Hashem b'simcha, you have to serve Hashem b'simcha, with happiness. And it's almost impossible. So comes the holiday of Purim and says, no, this is how you can find the way how to transform everything. One of the secrets behind the holiday of Purim is called v'na'afocho. We'll transform it. Whatever seems to be bad is actually very soon going to be revealed how good it is. We just don't see it with our limited minds. Now, in the holiday of Purim, we read a very special story, which is called Megillat Esther. Now, Megillah is like a scroll, and Esther, a lot of people relate to that to the name of the queen, but really the name of the queen was Hadassah, not Esther. We call it Megillat Esther because Megillah comes from the word legalot, to reveal, and Esther comes from the word Hester, something that is concealed, that I don't see. So this Megillah, this story, comes to reveal hidden secrets for me to have some type of a path, some type of a roadmap. How do I get myself out of my own exile and go into spiritual freedom? Because really when you want to see, if you want to look at the whole story, if we do like a real quick recap, the Jews were stuck in Mitzrayim. Bnei Israel, we just read that. Then comes Moshe Rabbeinu, gets them out of their exile, walks them through the desert, they get the Torah. Then they walk in the desert for 40 years. After that, they walk into Eretz Israel. Then they wait for 410 years before they can build the Beit HaMikdash. Then they build the first Beit HaMikdash. The first Beit HaMikdash is holding for 410 years, the Beit HaMikdash sustains. Then, unfortunate reality happens that the Beit HaMikdash gets destroyed. Gets destroyed by a very mean tyrant called Nebuchadnezzar. He was the king of Babylon, of Babel, and he comes and destroys Beit HaMikdash. And of course the blame is on us. Our sages tell us you failed in idol worship, in bloodshed, and forbidden relations, therefore you lost your Beit HaMikdash. Since the sin was revealed, then the length of the exile was revealed. As they're going out of Yerushalayim, the prophet tells them you're going to be out of Yerushalayim for 70 years. 67 years later happens the story of Purim. 3 years later, they're back into Yerushalayim and building again the Beit HaMikdash, the second Beit HaMikdash. 420 years later, again it gets destroyed. Why? This time from one sin that is called Sinat Chinam. Sinat Chinam is me not liking another person for no reason. Since the sin is not revealed, then the length of the exile is not revealed. Now what it means that the sin is not revealed, idol worship, if I chas v'shalom do idol worship, it's revealed. You can see what I'm doing. Or chas v'shalom bloodshed or forbidden relations. But sinat chinam, I can look at you and smile at you all day long, and in my heart, I can't stand you. Or I hate you. Or I'm jealous of you. So the sin is not revealed, the length of the exile is not revealed. Comes the story of Purim, and it comes to reveal the hidden secrets. This is why it's called Megillat Esther, revealing whatever is concealed. In the story of Megillat Esther, besides the fact that historically it actually happened, it's not a fairy tale, it's not a story, it actually happened. But regardless that it actually happened, it has in it all these hidden meanings. Excuse me. So if you kind of dissect the Megillah, what do we have? We have a king Achashverosh. if I compare it to my life, then there's also a king in my life. The king of the world, Melech Malchei Amlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Then in the Megillah, there's a tzaddik, there's a Mordechai. So also in my life, there's a tzaddik. There's a tzaddik that's where I look upon to. And then in the Megillah, there's another character, a Haman, a mean person. Haman is a descendant of Amalek. Amalek is a klippah. It's a nation, but it's a manifestation of a klippah. A klippah is a spiritual entity, a husk, that comes to oppose His holiness. Now Amalek is a very sophisticated klippah. There are many different types of klippot. Amalek is a very sophisticated klippah. Why? Because he has a very mean character trait of cooling a person down. We read it every day when we pray Shacharit, Asher karcha baderech, that he comes and cools you down. You come to a lecture, you come to a beautiful event, you get all excited, all inspired, you go out of the door, comes and cools you down. Relax. You don't have to be so fanatic. Don't have to believe this guy. You go excited for 2 hours, I'm very happy. Now he comes with a needle and he pokes the air out. All the excitement goes away and you're back to square one. So you go to another class, build up excitement, he comes and pokes it again and he cools you down. Don't have to get excited. You did a mitzvah last week, that's enough. Now Amalek has a very weird character trait that he comes and grabs us by our neck. The numerical value of the word Amalek is the exact numerical value. It's called Gematria of Oref. Because he comes and grabs us by our neck like a vicious animal. What does it mean in the spiritual term? In the spiritual term, my body is divided into 2 sections. The upper section corresponds to my head, and this is called Mochin, my intellect. The lower part of my body is corresponding to my body, and this is called Midot, my attributes, my character traits. So I have something going here, I have this balloon here, and inside there's an intellect, and then I have another, this bulky body, and inside there's a lot of types of different attributes and character traits. But then there's like this little stick here that connects them together. Now, Amalek says, okay, I don't mind you pumping up your intellect, but I'm not going to let it come down. Just leave it here, and that's it. And the easiest example, and I'm not talking about mystical, deep concepts of Kabbalah and Chassidut, I'm talking about basic things. That if you take now any human being that smokes cigarettes, and you'll tell him, do you know that cigarettes are bad for you? He'll tell you, yeah. Do you know that cigarettes can cause cancer? Yeah. So why do you smoke? Oh, I'm addicted. I can't get rid of it, this habit. No, because what's stuck in the mochin, in the intellect, does not penetrate down into the body. And this is one example out of many. You know, you go now to the supermarket, 90% of what's on the shelves is poison. And you know that. You look at the ingredients, food coloring, MSG, GMO, all the junk. You still buy it, and you still eat it, and you know it's not healthy. Why? Because it's much easier to put something in a metal box and press a button, and in 3 minutes I have a meal. So Amalek doesn't let anything from here come down into here. Now this is talking about basic things. I'm not talking about now spiritual things that I know in my mind. It's not good to lie. It's not good to cheat or to slander, to say lashon hara, and to steal, and to... I know it. I know it's not good to hate another person, and I know I need to help this person, but it doesn't penetrate into my body. Why? Because there's a klippah that is holding my neck and is surrounding it with a ring and does not let what I understand penetrate into my heart. This is the concept of Amalek. And Amalek, each and every one of us has an Amalek in us, as a Haman. So again, if I'm dissecting the story of Purim, there's a king, it goes on the master of the universe. There's a tzaddik, there's a Haman, and there's also a queen, Esther. I am the queen. All of us are the queen. We are called Knesset Israel. We are the queen of the Kadosh Baruch Hu. We just got Matan Torah. That was the wedding. Kadosh Baruch Hu married us. So we are Esther. We are the queen. And in the story, you have to really learn the details of the story, because a lot of people think that Queen Esther was an 18-year-old teenager that won the beauty pageant. Esther was 70 years old. 70 years old. She wasn't a young girl. And The Megillah says, "Umatzah chen b'nei Amalek," and the king found favor in her eyes. Rather, the Kadosh Baruch Hu made her have this special grace that he found her to be so beautiful and attractive. But the story says that he locked her in a room. She was locked for half a year in a room. She didn't want to come out. The Zohar explains that every time that he called for the queen to come in, she was able to clone herself and created a demon, and the demon used to go to him. He never touched her. She was holy. The Zohar goes into this and it's explaining that she was able to clone herself. The Ari Kadosh Arizal explains that our body, our existence is built from two entities, from a holy soul and from a physical body. The Arizal in Shara Kedusha calls the body, he calls the actually body shed, like a demon. And the body is kind of like a clone to the nefesh. Esther was such a tzaddik that she knew how to duplicate herself, so to say, and she would send this demon to Achashverosh, so he never touched her. But she was locked in her room for half a year. She did not want to go to the king. And every time she was called to the king, she was forced to go there. In Lashon Kodesh, the Jewish terminology, this is called anusa. She was forced to. She didn't go willingly. This goes on my neshama that is forced to go to a place of impurity. Because the palace of Achashverosh was a palace of impurity. It wasn't a beautiful palace like what we're imagining with beautiful pictures on the walls. It was a palace of tumah, of impurity. That's all they wanted to do there. So she was forced to go there. Once, Mordechai comes to her, and Mordechai used to go to her every day and ask her, how are you doing? Everything's okay? You good? You feeling fine? One time he comes and he tells her, you have to go to the king. And she tells him, I have to go to? Why are you making me go to the king? I don't want to go to the king. Up until now, I was forced every time to go to the king. Now you're telling me? If you're telling me, I will do what you say. She says, now you have to go to the king. You have to go into this palace of impurity. This whole story is, you can look at it also as a metaphor of my life. I am trapped in this palace of impurity. I'm trapped in this body that my body only wants all sorts of things that are pleasurable to my body. I want to sleep, I want to eat, I want to enjoy this life. All day long I have a jungle of thoughts in my mind, a jungle of emotions in me. It's a palace of impurity. And I'm forced to do that. Like Queen Esther. She was forced to go there. But she went there b'mesirut nefesh. Self-sacrifice. And I'm going to be there. And when the tzaddik told her, you have to go into the king, she says, okay, I'm going to do it. Now amazing, in the story of Purim, you see the secrets of how I remove myself from this palace of impurity and how I go into my spiritual exile. Because in order for me to experience, let's call it for now, a global exile, then I first have to have my own personal redemption. If I want to go out of, I'm sorry, I said it wrong. If I want to experience a global redemption, then I first have to have my own redemption. And comes the Megillah, comes to reveal to me, how do I go out of my own limitation? Because my own exile is my own limitations, the things that limit me, where I cannot grow spiritually higher. What limits me in my mind, my thoughts, my speech. So in the Megillah, it comes and reveals the pattern, excuse me, and the path that I have to go out of my own exile. Because after Purim, when they went out of this exile, and this wasn't a regular exile, this was a decree to kill everybody. This was like a Holocaust. I mean, 75 years ago, Haman came back again. This time he got dressed into another tyrant, and he tried to finish what he wanted to do 2,000 years before that in Purim. We know that Hitler, Yamach Shemo, was an Amalek. From Zera Amalek, Haman came back. But in the time of the story of Mordechai and Haman, they went out. They were able to beat the decree and go back to Eretz Israel, back to the land of Israel, and build the Beit HaMikdash. So now I'm standing kind of in the same place. Right? I'm in exile. I'm out of Eretz Israel. Maybe physically I live there, but I'm out of the concept of the redemption. And now I'm also looking at, everybody wants to destroy us. I'm looking at a state of extinction. It's a kind of an equivalent time. And I'm experiencing my own exile. So comes the Megillah and tells me everything is hidden in the Megillah. Megillah again comes from the word legalot, to reveal. So the Megillah comes and tells me a beautiful story with a lot of hidden details. And then he comes and tells me, listen, every time you celebrate Purim, there are going to be 4 mitzvot that you have to do. Now, most cases and in most mitzvot, women are exempt from most of the commandments that are in the Torah. All the mitzvot of Purim, women are not exempt. Now, amazingly, there are 4 mitzvot in the Megillah. I call them the 4 mems, because all 4 of these mitzvot start with the letter mem. If you noticed, Mikra Megillah, Mishloach Manot, Matanot Levyonim, Mishteh V'Simcha. 4 mitzvot that women are also obligated. Everybody's obligated in these mitzvot. And they all start with the letter mem. Not by chance they started by the letter mem. They could start with any other letter. But what's so special about mem? If you notice, there are 2 types of mems. There are few letters that they have 2 ways to write them. For example, kaf and pei. Mem also has a mem ptucha, and then it has a mem stuma, like a square mem that comes at the end of the word. If you look at the structure of the letter of mem, it has a base, it has a wall, has another wall, has a little opening on the bottom. Just a little open. There's a big question, why was the Torah started with the letter bet? It would make more sense that the Torah should start with the letter aleph. Come our sages and explain, because the bet, if you look at the structure of the letter bet, it has a base, it has a right wall, it has a roof, and then it has one wall that is open. Why? This wall is called ruach tzfonit, the northern wind. What does it mean? The Yetzer Hara has 7 different names. One of the names of the Yetzer Hara is called tzfoni. Tzfoni, you can translate it as northern, but it comes from the word tzafun. Tzafun is something that is hidden. Very, very good. Tzafun has the same root in the word in Hebrew, what's called matzpun. Matzpun is my conscience. I have a conscience. My conscience is the weak point of my godly soul. I do something and right away my conscience tells me, why did you do that? That's not nice. Why did you steal? Why did you lie? Why did you cheat? My conscience doesn't let me live with myself. I do something bad, I scream at my child, I do something that is not right, my conscience will come and tell me that's not the right thing to do. And it's not going to let me sleep, it's not going to let me rest. This part of the Yetzer Hara goes and attacks this part, this conscience, and he uproots it. I don't want you to have a conscience. I want you to be cold. And I don't want you to get chas v'shalom. You have a conscience and say sorry to somebody? No. So this ruach tzfoni, this Yetzer Hara is called tzfoni. The Yetzer Hara has 7 names, and each name corresponds to one way how he comes to bother us. So the world was created with the letter bet. The Torah starts with the letter bet because the Kadosh Baruch Hu says has to be a Yetzer Hara. If there wouldn't be a Yetzer Hara, there wouldn't be resistance. If there wouldn't be resistance, I wouldn't be able to grow spiritually. If I go now to a gym and I want to work out, and I just sit like this and I don't move, I can go to the most nicest gym in the world, but if I don't do some type of a movement, there's no resistance, there's no exercise going on there. I can sit on a chair like this for 3 hours, nothing's going to happen. I have to do something. And in order to do something and for it to be beneficial, it has to be resistance. I have to push something, I have to pull something. So the Yetzer Hara is actually my friend, it's my personal trainer, that is making me have resistance. So the Kadosh Baruch Hu says, I want you to have resistance. I want you to be able to work in order to grow. There's a famous pasuk that says, Ratzah HaKadosh Baruch Hu lezakot et Israel. Hashem wanted to give us a lot of merits. Lefichach hirba lehem Torah mitzvot. Therefore, He added to them a lot of Torah and a lot of mitzvahs. So we understand the simple explanation. The Kadosh Baruch Hu wanted to give me a bonus, so He gave me a lot of mitzvahs and a lot of Torah. The more you do, the more you get. That's it. Comes Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai in the book of the Zohar and he says, don't read this pasuk the same way. You should read it, Ratzah HaKadosh Baruch Hu lezakech et Israel. Kadosh Baruch Hu wanted to refine our souls. Therefore, He gave us a lot of Torah and a lot of mitzvahs. So the Torah and the mitzvot is not coming to limit me and to annoy me and to put me under stress. It's coming to refine me. If I need something to refine me, it has to be some type of a resistance. If you look at anything in this world, if there's no friction or if there's no resistance, nothing's going to happen. Take now a match. If it doesn't strike something else and there's some type of a friction, the match will never light. It will stay a match. You have to strike it against something and then the match would light. So the Kadosh Baruch Hu created the world with a power that I will have to confront. And that's the Yetzirah, and that's why the Torah was started with the letter Bet. And many other reasons, that's one of the many reasons. B'ashgacha pratit, nothing happens by chance. This week's Torah portion is called Truma. Should give me a contribution. Now, in yesterday's reading is lying the foundation of why the world was created, with one verse. V'asitem li mishgdash v'shachanti betocham. You should build for me a sanctuary, and I will dwell in you. And this is literally concluding the entire plan, what Hashem wants. I want you to build me a sanctuary, and I will come and dwell in your sanctuary, in your mikdash. Your mikdash is your body, your mikdash is your home, is your office, is your head, is your bedroom, everything, your kitchen, everything is a mikdash. A mikdash is holy. It has to be holy. If it's holy, then there's going to be Hashra'at HaShekhinah, there's going to be dwelling of holiness in it. If there's no holy, there's not going to be Shekhinah. They're very simple. So Kadosh Baruch Hu comes and tells us, this is fresh in our mind, we read it yesterday, it's in our week's parasha, V'asitem li mikdash v'shachanti betocham. And that's what the Kadosh Baruch Hu wants from me. When you ask the big question, why am I here? Why did the Kadosh Baruch Hu created the world? The Midrash answers, Nitava lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu liot dira b'tachtonim. The Kadosh Baruch Hu wanted to have a dwelling place in this world. How? He says, you're going to make yourself holy, you're going to make yourself holy, you're going to make yourself holy, and I'm going to come and dwell here. And I'm going to dwell in each and every one of you. There's a big question in Chazal. Our sages say, why does it say, Ubanitim li mikdash, single, v'shachanti betocham, plural? If you know a little bit of Hebrew, it should say betocho, single tense, not plural. Betocham is many. So our sages, yes, betoch kol echad mimchem, in each and every one of you. Comes the Ari HaKadosh, Rabbi Yitzchak Luriani says, betocham, cut the word in half, and you will read it betoch mem. In the mem. So we go back again to this mem. The first mem is the mem that has the seal opening from the bottom. It resembles a little bit. Just that here, the entrance is not from the side that the Yetzirah can just walk in. It's from the bottom, a little chubchik in the bottom that the Yetzirah can come from the bottom. But my job is to build a sanctuary, v'asitim li mikdash, and then shachanti betoch ha-mem. I will dwell in the mem. Meaning that I have to close the mem. I have to close all four walls. And then I get what's called a mem stuma. This is a mikdash. And then the Kadosh Baruch Hu will dwell there. Because there's no access to anything that is impure. This is the concept of build me a sanctuary. Now comes the holiday of Purim, and it needs to reveal to me all the information that I need to know. So comes the Megillah and says, you want to build a sanctuary? You want the Geulah? You want the redemption to come? You want to close the mem? There's 4 mitzvot that you have to do. And you celebrate it on the holiday of Purim. So if you go through all 4 mitzvot, we'll go one by one. The first one is called Mikra Megillah. We are obligated to hear the reading of the Megillah. If you missed one word, you have to read it again. You have to hear it again. You have to have silence in the synagogue. You can't bring the little kids to make noise. And if you missed one word, and this is also for women, they have to hear it. You have to hear every word of the Megillah. But we read the Megillah only once a year. How is that connected to me on my day-to-day base? That's learning Torah. Every day I have to learn Torah. Men, women, and children. Everybody has to learn Torah. You don't have to sit in yeshiva for 5 hours, but even if you read Tehillim for 10 minutes, that's learning Torah. You learn a little bit of laws about kashrut, about shlom bayit, about lashon hara, about Shabbat, about meat and dairy, whatever it is. A couple of oral laws. That's learning Torah. You learn a little bit of Parashat HaShavua, whatever you want, whatever is connected to you, but you have to learn. Once people said, oh no, women are exempt from learning. Women have to learn. Women, it's more important for the women to learn, because they're the foundation. If the women don't know how to function, nobody will know how to function. So first of all, I have to learn Torah. Everybody. Then the next mitzvah, very simple. Matanot levyonim, charity. I have to do charity. Very simple. Now charity is not only writing checks, charity is also giving my time. My neighbor needs me to babysit the kids so she can have 2 hours of peace of mind. That's charity. Me smiling to my wife in the morning, how are you? You look beautiful. That's charity. Once I told somebody, if you didn't do 5 acts of charity today, don't go to sleep. He's like, oh no, you're crazy, you're exaggerating. I said 5, I didn't say 50, 5. Just smile to another person and say good morning. That's an act of kindness. So we are obligated to do charitable acts. Then comes another mitzvah, and it's called mishloach manot. Mishloach manot is I make myself a beautiful basket, I put a lot of treats in it, and I give it to somebody else. I don't know how it is in America. I grew up in Eretz Israel, and we had a custom in school that I would bring a mishloach manot, and we all put it on the table, and then each kid would come like a lottery and pull out a mishloach manot. I had the worst luck in history. I always brought the nicest mishloach manot, and I would come home with a bag with 2 pretzels in it. And I was like, this is not fair. I just gave the best mishloach manot. I put the best chocolates and the best treats, and this is what I'm getting? A bag of pretzels? Had the worst luck in mishloach manot. But mishloach manot is one of the most interesting mitzvot that we have to do. What's the concept of me giving you a bag of treats and you giving me back a bag? Why can't I just keep my own bag? The concept of this mitzvah is corresponding to a mitzvah of Ahavat Israel, of loving another person with no conditions. Even if I give him a big mishloach manot and I get a bag of pretzels, that has nothing to do with what I get back. It's what I give. The Ari HaKadosh says that each and every one of us has a godly spark in us that is very unique. And when I do the mitzvah of mishloach manot, I give you my godly spark, I share it with you, and you share your godly spark with me, and we switch, so to say. In essence, how it's referring to me is me giving out of myself something the best to somebody else with no expectations of getting something back. That's mishloach manot, and that's a very hard mitzvah. It's easy to wrap a basket with some food. That's the physical part of it. But we want to talk about the spiritual part of it. Then comes another mitzvah that is called mishteh v'simcha. I have to make a meal on Purim, and I have to have a lot of simcha. This mitzvah kind of splits into 2, because mishteh corresponds to Shabbat. Because what do we do on Shabbat? How do we really celebrate Shabbat? Around the table. It's around the meals. This is the main part of Shabbat is the meals. So the mitzvah of mishteh corresponds to Shabbat. I have to keep Shabbat. And I need to cover all my bases. But then it says another part, it says mishteh v'simcha, happiness. Now what is happiness? If you do it Hashem b'simcha. I have to serve Hashem b'simcha. Even if I have a $100,000 debt, I should still put a smile on my face. Baruch Hashem, that it's not 200,000. So Hashem says, I'm going to put a lot of problems on you. Just put a smile on your face. So we have technically 5 mitzvot, not 4. In the Megillah, it's breaking into 4 mitzvot. But really I have 5. Now, if you want to dissect it, then the first mitzvah, okay, learning Torah, I understand. I can learn 20 minutes a day, I can learn an hour a day. I understand it. It sits well in my head. The second mitzvah, acts of charity, of kindness, I understand. It might be hard for me to do, I understand it. Then we'll skip to the 4th one, which is Shabbat. I understand, I have to keep Shabbat. Then, but there's 2 mitzvot, number 3 and number 5, that I don't get so much. A, you're telling me to love another person unconditionally, with the mishloach manot, and then you're telling me to put a smile on my face? How do you expect me to do that? How do you expect me to love another person when I can't stand them? You're telling me to have Ahavat Israel, and then you're telling me to be b'simcha, to be constantly happy even if I have problems? But this is where the secret lies. That's the hidden secret. Yeah, I have to accept every other person. I have to have this unconditional Ahavat Israel. And what allowed them to go out of their galut, out of their exile, is that they were doing all these 5 things. They learned Torah. You have to understand that the decree of Haman, it was a whole year. It wasn't 2 weeks and he wanted to finish with it. It was a whole year. They had a whole year to do tshuva. So they learned Torah, they did acts of charity, they had Ahavat Israel, they kept Shabbat, and they were besimcha. There was a decree, there was a sword on their neck. I'm going to kill you all. But they were still besimcha. And if you want to take each and every one of these 5 mitzvot, this is our secret how to go out of my own exile. If I'm able to apply these 5 simple things. I mean, they're not so simple, but to apply it, this is what the Megillah comes to reveal to me. And it tells me, if you were able to do this, you are guaranteed to go out of your own exile. It doesn't mean that your debts are going to disappear. It just means that you're not going to get so overwhelmed by them. The reality is that 50% of my problems are there because I created with my insecurity in the Kadosh Baruch Hu. That I don't have trust and bitachon and faith in the Kadosh Baruch Hu. So I bring on myself these headaches. And if I have just a little bit of trust in the Kadosh Baruch Hu, I have nothing to worry about. You know, what do we worry about all day long? We worry about how am I going to pay my rent, how am I going to pay my mortgage, if chas v'shalom I'm fired, what I'm going to do, when am I going to get money, how am I going to pay tuition. All day long I have these worries in my mind. I'm not talking about chas v'shalom health things. But all day long we have this da'aga, this worry in my mind. Da'aga in Hebrew is to worry. Amazingly, if you look at the word da'aga in Hebrew, if you look at the letters, it has all the letters starting from Aleph. Aleph, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, going in different order, of course. But it's missing one letter. It's missing the letter Bet. Bet stands for bitachon, for trust in the Kadosh Baruch Hu. If I have trust in the Kadosh Baruch Hu, I will never worry. If I don't have trust in the Kadosh Baruch Hu, all day long I'm going to be worried. And we are the only creature that is worried. I mean, animals are not worried. You ever see a stressed animal? I never saw a cat like going, oh my God, where am I getting food today? When you see these snails jumping up and down here, they're not worried. They're relaxed. They don't have high blood pressure. They don't have depression and anxieties. Why? Because they trust the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Billions of animals are walking around the world. Billions. Not one of them is under stress. There's no Xanax for animals. They're happy. They're good. Why? They trust the Kadosh Baruch Hu. We are the only creature that is worried. All day long I'm worried. I'm the one who has a little bit of intellect that I can understand. I need to be worried. The master of the universe is not going to take care of me. He put me here. He will take care of me. Like he did to billions of others of people. And trillions of animals. You know, there's a mitzvah that is one of the most powerful mitzvot in the Torah that most people are trying to do anything in their way, in their possibility, in their ability to not to do this mitzvah. And that's to bench, to say Birkat Hamazon. Most people, you will hand them over a roll, they'll be like, is this mezonot? That's what mezonot? No, I'm not so hungry. Let's eat pizza. No, it's mezonot. It's a moti. No, I'm full. And then people come with all these sophistications. You know what? I'm going to say mezonot. I'll eat 2 bites. I'll wait 3 minutes. Then I'll say men shalosh. Then all these. Just sit down on your toches and say the Birkat Hamazon for 3 minutes. What's the big deal? It's one of the biggest mitzvot in the Torah. It's the only mitzvah from the Torah to say actually a bracha. If people would know what's behind this blessing, they would all day long say Birkat Hamazon. And really, what did it say? What did it take? 5 minutes. And we're lazy. No, I'm hungry. I'm full. The reality is, by the way, just that you know, that half of the things that they tell you is mezonot, it's not really mezonot. Really, that can be to dilute this dough so much that it will be mezonot. But that's off the subject. The reality is that in this bracha, first of all, our sages tell us that it is a huge mitzvah to wash for bread every day. It says, Bechlal, for men, they go to pray shacharit in the morning, then they learn a little bit, and then they eat pat shacharit. They have to wash. You don't have to eat the entire loaf of bread. Just cut a little piece, and just for the mitzvah, just to wash your hands, and then say Birkat Hamazon. This is one of the most powerful mitzvot. Half of the problems that people have that can be solved by this mitzvah, by the way. The Arizal says unbelievable things about this, what's behind this brachot. And in this bracha has a very simple hint. It says, Hazan ufarnes lakol. That he feeds me and he sustains everybody. Don't worry. Have trust in the Kadosh Baruch Hu. And we don't have trust in the Kadosh Baruch Hu. So we create all these problems. I mean, we didn't invent problems. 2,000 years ago, people also had problems. We just magnify them. So what I want to take from tonight is something very, very simple. We're all stuck in this exile, and we're not so happy about it. But Hashem says, I want you to do something. I want you to go out of your way. It's not chokhmah. It's not a big deal if I come and do it. If I press the button, I want you to do it. So if you are doing it by yourself, I'm going to leave you alone. But if you're not, I'm going to make you do it. Therefore, we all pushed in some way or another into a wall. And each one in their own world, their problems are the biggest problems ever. But comes this unbelievable month that is full of powers, and I have to tap into the energy of the month. Every day Hashem creates the world with a certain energy. Every day, every week, every month, every year, every day is a total different energy. It doesn't resemble the day before. I need to tap into the energy of the day. Almost like a spiritual bank that every day gives out money. If there was a bank here that every day if you would come and stand in line will give you $1,000, you would go to that bank every day. You wouldn't miss a day. So Hashem tells you, I'm this spiritual bank, and every day I'm giving you sustenance, and I'm giving you some type of an energy. Come and take it. If you take it, you benefit something out of it. You don't come and take it, I'm sorry. I'm giving it for free. How do I take it? By following the Torah. I just told you, I learn Torah, I pray, I do acts of kindness, I do all these things. That's how I derive something to myself, to my own benefit. Comes this powerful month, the entire month. It's not just one day, the entire month, because today the entire energy of the month is condensed into one day. Then it's spread out throughout the month. You know, there's a story in the Zohar it's more of a question. Why does the Kadosh Baruch Hu spread out everything like in increments, in installments? So he says a story there. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says in the Zohar, there was once a king, and he decided to physically help his kids. Now he says, every day I want you to come and I'm going to give you one part of the payment. So every day the children had to come, sit for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, he will pull out of his pockets some money and give them. One kid said, why don't you save me the headache and save yourself the headache? Give me the money once a year. That's it. Why do you need to give me the money once a day? Every day to count the money, to write the check. I'll come once, I'll just take it once a year. So the king said to his son, if I will give you money once a year, I will see you once a year. That's why I'm giving you every day, because I want to see you every day. So the Kadosh Baruch Hu wants to see me every day. So every day is divided into a total different energy. I'm saying now energy. The terminology, the right terminology is called hamshacha, something that I pull down from a spiritual bank into this world. And if I tap into it, then I'm able to derive something out of it. So this month has an unbelievable energy, unbelievable power to allow me to reach to my own depth, to be able to operate in exactly in the level that I told you. That I can apply this learning Torah, to apply this act of charity and acts of kindness. More than that, to apply into my life the ability and the awareness and the patience to sustain and to accept any other person. Because the reality is that that's where we're tested the most. In the most hard moment of my day, in the most annoying point of my day, somebody comes and asks me the most annoying favor. And then I'm placed with the dilemma, should I help, should I not? I mean, it's 2 minutes before Shabbat, now you're calling? That's when the Kadosh Baruch Hu sends the messenger. And he says, I want to see if you'll accept that person. And how many times the phone rings, you're looking at the number, oh, her again? Kadosh Baruch Hu is testing you to see when are you accepting somebody who knocks on the door and just wants something. And in most cases, that's when we hang up the phone, that's when we turn, oh, you crossed the street and I want to see her. But that's where Kadosh Baruch Hu is paving our way, because he wants to see how much I can tolerate, how much patience I have to another person. This is the real Ahavat Israel. The real Ahavat Israel is that I'm able to accept another person with all of their difference of opinions, they dress different, they came from a different country, they talk different, they do everything different. And I can still find space to accept them. Kadosh Baruch Hu says, I want you to be like me. In Sefer Bereshit, he said, "V'nivra Adam b'dmutenu ketzalmenu b'dmutenu." I want you to, I'm going to create a man in my image. I accept everybody, I want you to accept everybody. I want you to make space to every human being around you, which is a very hard thing to do. But that's where the foundation lies. By the fact that I'm able to look at everybody personal, everybody even. The Mishnah says, "Ve'vedan kol adam lekav zchut." Look at every person and judge them favorably. It's extremely easy to look at another person, throw all the guilt, all the problems, his fault, she did it. It's the completely other way around. I have to find in myself the room to accept everybody, because I'm not so perfect myself. If I would be able to analyze myself honestly, I would say, I know I'm not so perfect myself. It's very easy to point fingers at everybody. Kadosh Baruch Hu comes and tells, no, I want you to accept everybody. I want you, on purpose I put you all together. If I did not want you to do it, I would create billions of islands, and I would put each and every one of you on an island. And once a week you would wave to each other. No, I put you together, condensed, now get along. And more than that, the Kadosh Baruch Hu says, yes, your life might seem not so great at the moment, but still put a smile on your face, because it's all good. Now when I go and apply all these things together, I'm really able to go out of my own exile, my own limitation. And if I'm already out of my limitation, I'm out of my own exile, I can start affecting the world to get the entire world out of exile. So I want to apply these 4 mems in my life. It's very easy to remember. And in this month I have the power to actually tap into these 4 mems and to derive the power to actually do it, to overcome all my limitations when it comes to learn Torah, when it comes to pray, when it comes to love another human being, when it comes to observe the Shabbat, when it comes to me just to be happy because I woke up, I'm breathing today. It's very easy to say, oh, my life is hard. But the reality is that our life is not that hard. It all depends how you look at everything. You know, when we wake up in the morning, we are taught by our sages that I have to say one sentence when I wake up in the morning. Modeh ani lefanecha. I thank you. I thank you, the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Most people, if they're already saying this verse, they say it 360 miles per hour. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says like, I'm back! I'm back! Who wakes up like that? Thank you! Another day! We don't wake up like that. We wake up in the morning, oh, another day. The reality is that we have to wake up in the morning and be like, thank you, I can't believe it, I'm back. I got another day. So it all depends how you look at things. You can look at things as a pile of problems, and you can look at things as, wow, it's not so bad. It's all perspective. You know, the other day, my daughter was pretty sick, so she kept my wife and me up all night. 3 o'clock in the morning, we're both like half dead, and she's crying. She can't go to sleep. Unfortunately, somewhere around 3 o'clock in the morning, she threw up all over the floor. So my wife tells me, okay, this I can deal with, that's you. So, 3 o'clock in the morning, wash all the dirt, and then I bend down on the floor, start cleaning the floor. Now, right away, my Yetzer Hara comes and tells me, look at you. 3 o'clock in the morning, you're on your knees. You should be sleeping now. You're teaching tomorrow. You're not going to wake up. Look at this. And he's starting to... And in my mind, I'm saying, this is nothing. You know that 75 years ago, in the Holocaust, what they used to do to them? They used to clean the throw-up of their own friends with their hands. I have a squeegee. I have a dustpan to go like this, and I have disposable shmates, I can wash it. And we look at little things as a burden, as a headache, when if you really go a little bit back, you're saying, I have a hard life. I have a fridge. I have a fridge with food. 100 years ago, who had a fridge? You would wait in line 3 days to get a piece of bread. I can walk in the street with a talis. 100 years ago, if I would walk in the street in a talis with certain countries, I would be shot. So it's all a matter of perspective. We're very, in some way, we're very spoiled. Now, I'm not chas v'shalom taking away from the severity of the problems of what we have. Don't think for 1 second that I'm minimizing the problems we have. I'm not wishing on anybody problems. But I'm just saying it's all about the perspective of seeing things. Now, when I understand that everything is good and everything that Kadosh Baruch Hu just wants for the benefit of me, then I'm able to sweeten everything and to put at least a smile on my face. And the reality is that when I put a smile on my face and I ignore it, 50% of my problems disappear. They don't exist anymore. I create the problems in my mind. So I want to take all these 5 mitzvot, apply it to my life. And if I apply it to my life, at least I know I did my part. Doesn't matter right now what's going to be the outcome. The outcome is going to be good, guarantee. And this month I have 30 days to tap into the bank of the energy to allow me to do it. I can surf the wave. It's a free ride. Today, this month is much, much easier. And it grows and grows and grows. Now I have 14 days of growth. Then comes the day of Purim. The day of Purim, it seems like, okay, just another holiday. It's not just another holiday. We start with a fast to cleanse myself, to purify myself, to elevate myself. And then this beautiful holiday. And a lot of people question, why do we get dressed? Why would we have to put costumes on? Why? So I found one very interesting thing is that, and people don't take it wrong, it's just my analogy. The reality is that we're all fake. Okay? We're fake with people, we pretend that we like them, we're fake with everybody around us, and mainly we're fake with ourselves. So once a year Hashem says, don't be fake. Put a costume on. Be yourself. Okay? Be yourself. So He allows us to put a costume on. Every day I'm in a costume of I'm not myself. Very few people are really true and honest and they're themselves. And I'm not talking about there's one between me and another person and then me with myself. How many times I'm fake with myself? I'm all the time fake with myself. That's the reality. The reality is that on a daily basis I lie to myself. And that's the problem, is that we are distorting the reality. Instead of me liking the truth, I make the truth what I like. That's the problem with us, that we manipulate the reality. The Torah comes and tells you, no, this is the truth, like the truth. We take what we like and we make that the truth. And we manipulate the situation. So I'm being fake with myself. I know deep down inside it's not the right thing. So once a year Hashem says, okay, get dressed. Get dressed as a clown. Be a little bit foolish today. Or behave a little bit. They put a funny hat. To come and tell me, be yourself. Go out of your limitation. Don't be so limited and so narrow-minded. And most of all, don't be fake to yourself. You fake to yourself, you fake to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Can't lie to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. I mean, you can lie to me, you can lie to anybody else, but don't lie to yourself and don't lie to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Kadosh Baruch Hu says, like, you're lying to me, what are you making? I'm the creator of the world, I know what you're thinking. You can't lie to me, so at least don't lie to yourself. Be true to yourself. So we have this auspicious month that I can internalize in my mind, in my entire being, how I can transform my entire behavior, and the month that comes after Adar is the month of the redemption. So I want to come to the point of redemption. Bemet, enough is enough. I want to come to the point of the redemption, but the Kadosh Baruch Hu has expectations for me. And these expectations can be exceeded. When the Kadosh Baruch Hu says, just do what I tell you. Here, I'm revealing it to you. I'm opening all the cards now. Just do what I'm telling you to do. I know it's not easy, just give the last push. Bezrat Hashem, this year should be the last Purim that we're doing here in exile. And it depends on us. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says, "B'zchut nashim tzadkaniyot yatzanu miMitzrayim." With the merit of righteous women, we went out of Egypt, out of exile. "V'b'zchut nashim tzadkaniyot nitzeh gam ha'galut hazot." Even in this, the merit of righteous women, that's how we're going to go out of exile. So it's all in your hands. I mean, we did enough. Now it's in your hands. Not that I want to put any pressure here, but the reality is that it's all about the women. It's all in your hands, and the women are the ones who can actually do it much, much better. Much, much faster, much stronger, much everything. So it all depends on the women. And when the women take something serious, then it affects their entire surrounding. It affects their husband, their kids, everything. And again, not to put any pressure, I'm just saying, do what you need to do. So Bemet Bezrat Hashem, this Purim should be the last Purim for us being in exile. We should really take matters seriously, take things in a much different way, and look at everything so much more positive. And Bezrat Hashem, this is going to allow us to go out of our own exile. And needless to say, it's going to allow us to go out of this horrible exile that we're all suffering from. And we will march proudly and happy into the redemption. Bezrat Hashem, it should happen very, very soon. Now, I just want to share with you one short thing, because I mentioned to you that with the merit of righteous women we left Egypt. And with the merit of righteous women we're going to go out of this exile. The Kadosh Baruch Hu gave me a huge merit that a few months ago we opened a women's seminary in Eretz Israel. But it's a seminary for older women, not for young women that they have where to go, because of these there are many of them. This is a seminary that for older women. And we started with 2 students, now we have 15,000 students. Most of them, of course, are worldwide through the internet, but locally we have hundreds of students in our seminary. The seminary is in Tzfat, in the holy city of Tzfat. It's designed mainly for older women. I mean, we have some students in their 30s. I'm saying older, I'm not saying not in a nice way. I'm saying more mature women. A lot of them are married, a lot of them are chas v'shalom lo aleinu widowed or divorced. But we have this unbelievable center for women to learn Torah. Some of you maybe see the classes that we have online. We post all the classes online. We have unbelievable programs there, starting from halacha and chumash and all the different topics. We learn Chassidut and Zohar and Kabbalah. A beautiful, beautiful center. The Kadosh Baruch Hu really gave us the merit, and everything worked in a miraculous, miraculous way. And the reason why I'm telling you that is for a few reasons. The first reason is come and join us, first of all. Whether you join us on the internet, whether you join us through any type of media, we're everywhere that you're going to look, you'll find us. I brought here a lot of CDs with a lot of lectures. Just take them. If you want to participate in the finance of them, it's all supported by donations. But we give out every month about 30,000 CDs all around the world. I brought some books, everything you can participate in. But more than that, we're using all the media to spread out the message. If you are on WhatsApp and you want to get daily notifications, you have here Liba and Rivka, you can give them your number. Every day we send notifications. Once a week we send classes. But mainly what I'm asking to you, in this week's parasha is called Truma, Parashat Truma. Truma is a contribution. And it's talking about 3 types of contributions that the people gave to the Bet HaMikdash. One of them was equal between everybody. That was to go to build what's called the Adanim, the foundation of the Mishkan. Everybody had to give an equal share. Then there was another type of contribution that was for the sacrifice that they gave twice a day. Once in the morning, once at night. They had to buy the animals. And then there was another type of contribution that everybody gave whatever they want. When I went to get a blessing, to get our center, then I went to many big Rabbanim, many big tzaddikim in Eretz Israel, in many different places to get a bracha. And then I went to my rabbi and I told him, listen, this is a huge operation. We have a massive building. We have every Shabbat, huge Shabbat meals. We have a food bank. We feed hundreds of families. We have so many things going on, besides the Torah learning, besides everything that we do. Should I go and find somebody now that can finance that, or what should I do? How should the financial part of it? He tells me, don't go and find one person. Because you know how you build Bet HaMikdash? Everybody participates. Everybody has to have one piece in the building of the Bet HaMikdash. And this week's parasha, that's what it's talking about. Some of the contributions, every person gives whatever they want. Whatever they want. But for building the Bet HaMikdash, everybody has to have a part in it. And the message, the instruction that I got from my rabbi told me, no, you go and you ask everybody to participate, that everybody has a chelik in what you do. And Be'emet HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us such a huge merit that I'm not even going into details. There's a lot of literature here and you can look at it online. The activities, what we do is beyond unbelievable, what the Kadosh Baruch Hu can turn around and make things happen. What I'm asking is for people to join us. Not only to join the spiritual part in learning and participating, is also joining us in any way that a person can come and can join, whether it's with a small contribution, with a big contribution, in any way. There's many other ways. We distribute these massive amounts of CDs, and we do it, why? Because we have a massive amount of people that take these CDs and they give them out. They don't just throw them in the pizza stove. They actually give them out. They share our videos online. They do anything that they can. So Baruch Hashem, now I'm living in Eretz Israel. I focus on our center, But once every few months, I leave my family. It's not so easy. My wife, Baruch Hashem, we have 6 kids. She stays home. She's very brave. Msirut Nefesh, she stays there. And I come not only to inspire or all the Jews around the world, as I come to make everybody join us, because that's how we're going to build the Beit HaMikdash. And the Beit HaMikdash and the redemption is going to come only with the merit of righteous women. And the Kadosh Baruch Hu allowed us to build this unbelievable center in the heart of the old city of Tzfat, and it's only educating women. So first, I really tell you should go and check all the videos that we have online. Unbelievable courses, beautiful Torah, and unbelievable. In all the media, anywhere you want, we put the Torah there. On the internet, on SoundCloud, on iTunes, and anywhere. Not that I'm really promoting all these places, but I know that people are there. So I have to be wherever other people are. I'd rather people come to sit physically in a class. But if somebody's on Facebook, then I'll put my Torah on Facebook. If somebody's on WhatsApp, I'm going to put it there. But the point is to understand the pnimiyut of it, that the women are the powerful ones. And our programs are designed just for women. I mean, we have a few classes for men, because the men are like, hey, we want to. But the focus is on women. So I'm really asking everybody in whatever way that they can to participate with us, and that's really how each and every one takes a part in building the Beit HaMikdash. It's really around the corner. All it needs is a few more kvetches, a few more pushes, and we're there. B'ezrat Hashem, I'm going to wish you to have an unbelievable month, a month of growth and success, and achieving all your dreams, and anything that is an obstacle in your life should be overcome. B'ezrat Hashem, we should merit this Purim to all celebrate. You should come and spend your time with us in our Beit HaMikdash in Tzfat. B'ezrat Hashem should happen very speedy in our days. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. We'll take, I think, half an hour, 45 minutes of questions, if anyone has any other questions. And by the way, I'm here for another 9 days. Every day there's a lecture somewhere else. Beautiful, amazing topics. And you can look on my website or social media for the schedule. Until next Thursday, every day there's a lecture. Not a lot of them are in Brooklyn, but you can look it up, come and enjoy the lectures. If you're not, it's all recorded. B'ezrat Hashem, you can find it online. Thank you so much. B'ezrat Hashem should have a beautiful Rosh Chodesh and happy Purim.